The vibe of being on stage in the Smiths was, it just felt like a really tight, close-knit unit, really. The five of us, we were all there in the dressing, a big part of it, I think vibe each other up in the dressing room and, make sure it's going to be a really good gig, and you'd do that every night. And it sounds a bit corny really now, but, I remember doing that. We were only, I was 19 at the time, or 20 at the time, and it was just, it just did feel like, the five of you in the band, it's something really, really special. And being in the studio was much more controlled. And like I said, Johnny, obviously he was the boss of the things. Well, Johnny and Morrissey, so everything was really controlled. And there, you're there making a record. Everything you've got to, you can't have, well, you can have a few drinks if you want, but you want to be there and make sure the finished product's going to be as good as possible. And that's the same with playing live on stage, but just with the Smiths, it was just, could just let loose a little bit and just really enjoy, vibe, play off each other, the five of you. And I was stood next to Andy most of the time and had his bass blasting, in me, and that just really got me excited anyway. Johnny was over the other side, and it just, you just feel a vibe really on stage. It sounds a little bit corny. It's not like, like these angels on stage, and you can feel it. But it was just a great band, and it was great playing guitar with a great band, and watching Morrissey out there, what he was getting up to. It was different, really different. As far as Morrissey goes, with his shyness, or whether he was shy or just laid back, no, he was just the same. Nothing ever got any, he didn't start, as the tour went on, he didn't start coming out to pubs and bars and restaurants any more than at the start. He was just the same as he always was. But he was just, he was one of the lads, really. Not, I don't mean one of the lads, he'd be swearing and drinking and smoking and all that. He was just, he wouldn't go off to the back on his own, to the back of the bus on his own or anything like that, really, unless he'd do a bit of writing, I imagine. But no, everyone would just sit together and watch a bit of TV, have a bit of a drink, and he wouldn't really distance himself that much, apart from, when we'd do gigs, he'd spend a lot of time on his own or with his security guard, maybe in his hotel room or going out for something to eat or whatever, and then probably early to bed, whereas we'd probably stay up a bit later, a couple of hours, 3 hours, something, have a drink. Morrissey would be first to bed, really.